Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever thought about how pen testers or ethical hackers break into your Wi-Fi networks? If you are wondering how it's all done, stay till the end. I will show you guys how to do it. So if you guys are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and share, and let's enjoy the fun and continue the journey. So in today's video, what I want to do is show you guys how to perform a full Wi-Fi pen test. And obviously I'm going to be doing this on my own equipment. So please don't do this on any unethical routers or access points or anything like that. So in this video, I want to show you some real tools that I use on my engagements, which hardware, which we'll get into that shortly. I have it right next to me. And at the end, we're going to do a hands-on demo on how I do this in the real world. So yeah. That's pretty much it. And obviously the disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes. So any of you guys do anything illegally, that's not on me. So please do this all ethically and make sure you have permission to do this on the network that you're performing this pen test for. All right, so what is actually needed? What do you need to do this? So I have a few alpha cards. Obviously you need a laptop that is running Parrot OS or Linux or Kali Linux or whatever. And I'm going to be doing this demo today inside of Parrot OS. I just always think it runs better. The alpha adapters work better. And if you guys need to know how to install the alpha adapters, I have so many videos on Wi-Fi pen testing stuff. So anyhow, the first thing I want to show you guys is my little alpha USB. So I have this little alpha. Let's see if I can bring it over here or over here, wherever. So this is a little mini USB, just plug it into your laptop and go on with your merry way. I do have one that's plugged in, so I'm not gonna stop this video, go downstairs on my computer. And then I have my other alpha adapter. Man, this thing is dusty. I have a few alphas, and obviously, as you can see, probably back there, or right over, I don't know, there. I have Wi-Fi pineapples as well, and different alpha cards. And this is my Wi-Fi Pineapple Tetra. So I also use this as well in my engagements. So these are the tools, the hardware that I use. And obviously I have a the Wi-Fi adapter on my Flipper Zero. And sometimes I use that, but that's more for tinkering with things. I don't really use that on real engagements. So yeah, so that's, what Wi-Fi card that I use. You can use any card that supports something called packet injection. So obviously the alphas, I could put some links in the description below to show you guys, or show you guys where to get them and all that stuff. So some optional tools, you can use I have one, I think it's in one of my drawers. It's a USB extension cable. So why I use this is sometimes for better positioning, better signal positioning. It all depends on where the access points are, where you are doing this engagement. And another one you can use, I actually have one, I should have brought it out, it's in my backpack, as an external battery pack for more for like mobile pen testing. You're not really plugging into anything, you need something mobile. And what tools, we're going to be going over this shortly when my demo, was AirMon NG, AeroDump, Air Replay, and AirCrack NG. Some other optional ones that I use, on my engagements is obviously Wireshark, BetterCap, and Armageddon, and there's some other stuff as well. All right, so let's jump into this, and we're gonna go ahead and walk through the phases. So let's get into it and have some fun. Alrighty then, folks. So here we are on the desktop. So the first thing you're going to always do when you're doing a wireless penetration test is identify your adapter, right? Your Wi-Fi adapter. You plug it into your machine. If you're running this on a bare metal, obviously it's going to come up and you just have to install the driver. I have videos installing the alpha drivers. But the first thing you can do is you can do an IPA or an IW config, and there's no wireless adapter, right? And this is on purpose. So I do have it plugged in, and if I'm using VMware Workstation, so on my VM, I'm running Parrot OS, I can see removable devices, and then Raylink, this wireless adapter, and I want to connect and disconnect from host. This is going to go ahead and disconnect it from my host computer and connect it to my virtual machine. So now if I do IWconfig, you can see this new wireless adapter, right? Or you can do ls USB. So ls USB is going to do an ls for the USB devices that are plugged in, and you can see it right here. Okay, so that's the first step that I always do. So we're going to do the phases, right? So the next phase, or the next thing I normally do, is do an airmon ng check kill. This is going to kill any conflicting processes that are running for your airmon ng. So I'm going to do airmon ng check kill. And there's nothing running right now, so that's awesome. So what I want to do is a little trick. As you can see, if I do a IWconfig, this is a wonky name, right? So what I'm going to do, I have a note on how to change this temporarily. So what I want to do is I want to change this. So I want to do an IP link set, and then I want to do, for an example, this name, because I want to change that down. So pretty much I'm saying bring this down. So if I do an IWconfig, it should be not down, but the link is down. Okay. So what we're doing now is go ahead and set this to name. I want to name it WLAN 0. Okay. So now I want to just do IPA set WLAN 0, and I want to bring it back up. So technically, if I know what I'm doing, I do an IWconfig and it's WLAN 0 now. So we are good, right? So we don't have that wonky whatever, WLX, blah, 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 because I won't remember that. Okay, so let's get back to business. So I'm going back to my notes. So the next thing we need to do is enable monitor mode for our interface, right? So how do we do that? We do airmon ng, and then start, and then WLAN 0, because that is the interface that we're using now. It's not that crazy one anymore. Okay, so you can see right here, monitor mode enabled. So technically, if I do IWconfig, IWconfig, we can see now this is WLAN 0 mon, and the mode is monitor. Okay, so now what we're going to do is scan for APs around you. So this is the next phase. So right now we're just scanning for networks, right? So we're going to use a tool called, I want to make this a little bigger, AirODump ng WLAN 0 mon, because that is the interface that we have monitored. So let's just start that up, and we can start seeing different APs, right? This is the APs around us, and I see the one that I want to test. So I want to do a Control C, right? So the one that we're going to test is right here. So I want to take a note of this. I'm just going to copy this and bring it up here and paste it here. And I want to make this bigger. Why can I just like, why can I make this bigger? Hello. That's weird. All right, so let's just go like this, edit, maybe preferences, fonts and sizes. And I want to do maybe, I don't know, 25. And I'll make it bold. All right, that's better, I think. All right, so cool. So now we have the BSSID, everything here, all right? So we have the BSSID, we have the power, the beacons, the data, the channel. The channel is important. The megabytes, the encryption, right? We have WP2, and then the cipher, pre-shared key, which is the authentication, and the ESSID, which is the network name. So Spectrum Backup ISP, you guessed it, this is my backup ISP provider. I have 2 ISPs in my house for my main network, and then obviously for a backup, right? So, and a few others I have, but for other things, but I don't know the others. Anyhow, so that's pretty much what we are tinker with. So now we just want to focus on one AP, right? So remember, if we're doing this in the real world, obviously you're going to see a whole bunch of networks. You want to make sure you have the one that's in scope for your pen test. My pen test is the backup, a Spectrum backup ISP. We want to make sure we can test this. All right, so we're going to do arrow dump, and then let's just hit enter. We don't know what we're doing, right? So if we want to do this, we can Google it, but what we need to do is specify the target by the BSSID. So right here, BSSID, this filters APs by BSSID, so we can specify the one that we want to target. The channel, -C for channel. Where's -C? Probably up here. No. I can also grep it. Let me see if I can do that. And let me just put -H, then grep -C or C or channel maybe. Well, I guess not. But anyhow, you need to specify the channel, right? So what we need to do is arrow dump ng --BSSID, and my BSSID is right here, right? Let me make sure. Let's go back up, because I want to make sure this is all correct. No, right here is my BSSID. Okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and paste that there. That's why checking, make sure is good. -C for channel. And my channel is number 6, right there, right? And then W for capture. So we want to capture this. So I'm just gonna put capture. It's fine. Whoops, I'm not typing. CAPTRUE. That's fine. And then I want to capture it on WLAN mon, WLAN 0 mon. Okay. So right now, this is just this right now, nothing else. So what am I doing? I'm specifying exactly the network that I want to scan. I don't want to worry about all those the ones that we were scanning before. So now what we need to do is check this out. So now we have to replace, well, technically we just have to send deauthentication packets to this access point, right? So let's open up a new terminal. Let that just cook. Let's open up a new tab. And whoops. Let's do sudo su and then my fancy password. Okay. So now what we have to do is we're going to do airplay ng -- deauthenticate, which deauth, if I can spell. All right, so deauth, we can say, for example, 20. -A is for the target. Now we're going to do the BSSID, which is going to be, if we come back here, the BSSID in this case is right here. So let's copy that. All right. Let's paste that here. And then we're going to do WLAN 0 mon. Okay. That looks good. So now it's going to start sending deauthentication packets, and we already got one right here. You see that? So technically, we already have a handshake, right? So if we do an ls here, we have this PCAP file, right? We can open this up with Wireshark as well. So let me do an ls-la, make sure this is the one from today. What is today's date? It's July 9th. So let me, July 9th. July 9th. Is any other July 9th here? Yeah, right here. Okay, July 9th. So the PCAP file is number 2, right here. Okay, so it's capture 02. Okay, so it's going to be this one right here. So technically now we can go ahead and try to crack this, right? So what we're gonna do is let me go ahead and cat Wi-Fi passwords. So let me make sure my password is in here. Yes, it is in here. So now what I wanna do is do aircrack ng capture 2, because this is the cap file, cap. All right, let me go ahead and do this. And then -w is the word list that we're going to use, and Wi-Fi. So if you're watching this Wi-Fi password.txt is a password file that I created, right? So you can go out there and use any password list you want to do for simplistic and demonstration purposes. Obviously, I have the password, and that password, I didn't change. I'm going to change it after this video, but that password that came with Spectrum was in a word list. So it was cracked before, and it's a very easy password. So that was default. I didn't change it. I didn't make it easier like my other video, like I knew it. I didn't know it. Or I didn't know that the password was going to be in a password list that I used. And for like I said, demonstration and time constraint, obviously I just took it out of there and made my own password list. Okay, so that's pretty much that. Let's hit it. And when we hit enter, we can see the password is right here. This is the password, right? So now let's go ahead and copy this. I want to go ahead and put this in my notes. And I want to come back here. Password is that. I wish I could make this bigger. I don't know why I can't. But anyhow, it's both river 100. This was my password for my Wi-Fi. Okay. So there's other tools that we can use, Armageddon and all that stuff. So the next thing we want to do is make sure we clean up what we just did. Right. So what we want to do next is I'm just going to put this in the description or in the comments or whatever. The next thing we want to do is clean up, right? So let's go ahead. We already have a password. So now what we can do, we can try to connect to it. Because right now, if we do an IWconfig, it's in monitor mode. We cannot get out to the internet, right? So what we need to do is do an airmon ng stop, and then WLAN 0 mon. And now it's going to go back to this crazy thing, right? This thing. And what we want to do next, the last thing we want to do is systemctl restart and then network manager. I don't know why I can't type today. All right, so that's going to restart the network manager. And let's go ahead and do an IWconfig. We can see here, and now it's in manage mode. So now technically, let's try to get on that. Let's connect to available networks. We can see here, I don't know, it's super small, but Spectrum Backup Network. Let's click on that. And we're going to put that password in here and see if we can get out to the internet. Right, so let me come back here. Let's go ahead and copy this password, plug it into here. So you don't think I'm doing any fanciness. It's both river 100. It's super small. Let's connect. We're going to connect to that VM on the wireless. And once that connects, it is established. Good. And now we can see this is getting on the internet. So if we do an IP route, we can see the routes that are going out of this network. And this is correct. This is my network over here, 192.168.108. So that's pretty much soup to nuts how you can do a quick Wi-Fi pen test. And if you have any questions, if you have any tips or tricks or make things better, put it in the comments. I'm always down to learn. So This is just from my notes, what I walk through on an engagement and what I do. So this is how you perform a Wi-Fi pen test, a simple demonstration of it. So thank you so much for viewing. And remember, this is for educational purposes only. This is all my network. This is my stuff. So unless you have, permission, do not do this, right? Don't just run this and start testing different networks. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for viewing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.